Okay, so today we will discuss like what is context API in React. Sometimes it's hard to understand what is it unless we encounter a real time or a practical problem. You see, there is a problem. There is a situation where we have these users. This is a user's component. What does it do? Is it just it's an API? You see this user effect. This is a use effect. It hits an API. This API response will be there. So response will be an array of objects. I'll just print and show you. Ignore this and just look into console. This is the response. Array of objects. Each object having keys like address, company, name, user and website. So we need name and website. So the thing is, if I click this radio button, I need websites. If I click this radio button, I need names. So these two are different components. You see here, this is a website. Sorry, I just close this. This is a name component. This is a website component. If you see the tree, the name component and a website component. So users is this component. When in the users we have done this API call. The response I want to store somewhere so that it is accessible to both names and websites. See, this can be achieved using Redux, but for understanding context API, I'm using API context API here. So first thing we must do is go to this components folder and then fetch from API, create a folder. Wait, where is this? Yeah, create or if you don't create also, that is fine. Just create on JSX, store context or JSX or any name for that matter. So you could see here, just collapse this. So this is just only this part is a context API what we are writing. Rest all it will take care. So first thing is React, import React into state and import create context. So this is from the React library. We import create context, and in this line, we are creating a new context object. Yeah, here I mentioned null. You can write any name or anything for that matter. So once you create a new object, you create a function. Name it as function of context API. This entire thing is a function. In the function, mention it as a props. Okay. So this part, as of now, you ignore. Okay. So we created a new function. We are returning of the function that is new context object, the object what we have created, and we say provider. This is the syntax of context API. We say new context object provider, and the value is what we are going to provide for the other components. See, there is one catch here. This provides means these data are accessible to all the components across components. There is a way to access, but I will show you how it is. So we say new context object provider. So this is syntax we need to buy this stuff. And the value is equal to, in our case we are saying data comma update data something. I'll tell you why we have done these two stuffs. So when we get, so you got it right. This is just the context API stuff. So when it comes to users, it's a API. So we are setting the response. We are set users. We are setting it in users that you can ignore. You see this line comes update data is equal to response dot data. What is update data here? It is coming from use context. See, Here we are doing create context. Here we are using the context. This is from React library again. So you see, we import this new context object what we have created here. We import here in the users.jsx, and we write this syntax: use context. What context to be used? This object what we have created, and what to get from this object? Updated data. What is updated data? It's here, we are providing here. No, I told you data and updated data is accessible all to all the components. So this users component is accessing updated data. So for instance, you can import data as well, data comma updated data as well. It's not a problem. So what happens initially, the data as of now it is Vinayak, correct? If I print here, you see this. I say console.log. I say data, comma data. We'll see what does it print. We'll reload. See, data is Vinayak. That what it prints. That's what we have written. There's one more. It is coming Vinayak data from context. Where have you mentioned this? Data from context. Just yeah, data from context. Again, this is Vinayak. See, what happens is first this component will run. So what happens is this new context object sends data and updated data to this component. It provides what is data here. As of now, we have defined as Vinayak. So from here it will go to here. That's why when it prints, it prints Vinayak. Okay, if I print 1 to 3 also, it will print 1 to 3. Now, once a response we got from the API, we are storing this data into updated data of the context API like this. You see here, correct? So what happens is from here it will go here, from there it will come here. Now, if somebody using the updated data component, okay, here updated data. What is updated data? It's a function. From here it will go here. You got it right. You see from line number 21 we are sending a response data to context API, which is updated data, which is a function of context API. So this will go and store here. What is it? It will go here. Updated data, which is equal to we get return some name, new data or any data, anything we type 1, 2, 3 or whatever. So set data, new data. So that response will be stored here now. Set data, which is nothing but data. So this Vinayak text is replaced by the API response now, which is this one. That's why you see the data is Vinayak for the first time. And for the second time when it runs, the data is the response from an API. There will be no more Vinayak. You see users 35, users 35. So now this data is having the API response, which is array of objects. This is clear. Now you see in the websites we are calling two components in the users.js. So these are the two components, websites and names. What we have written here? No, we just there's an input name of users and it's just a radio button. See, these two are just radio buttons. So this is names component and this is website component. When you click on names radio button, you see on click it says set show to true false, something we are doing here. So what I am saying is if show is true, so upon clicking show will become true, one more click it will become false. So if it is true, then only display data.map user li usernames. Usernames is names, this one user dot names, you print this one. So the thing is it will print on radio click the names data. We got it right, how data has come. See again we are using this context. Same thing you could see here. Here we are using, and here we are using the context. The data is already having array of object because API is hit here. Response is stored in update data of the context. It will come here, update data. It will go here. It will set the data. So this data is having the array of objects. So again, in this component names or JSF, we are calling the context API. That's what this data is array of objects. So we call the names. Similarly, websites we call the user of website. Upon click of ready, you see I load the page. I click on websites ready button. All the websites would load. If you expand, you get to know website. You see hilderberg.org something. If you click on this, all the names would load. So this is the brief about the context API, how it works. Get it? I guess this is very useful.